So talking about erectile dysfunction, probably not fun or easy. It's not a fun subject to broach with a doctor, with your partner, or whatever. And it's tough to keep coming up with excuses or having to do that when there's a solution right on the other side of the fence, which is where today's video sponsor, Roman, comes in. With Roman, it's easy to talk about it with a healthcare professional who can prescribe real medication. It's simple, it's safe, and totally discreet. You can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for ED, all from the comfort and privacy of your home. The healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, Roman will ship it to you with free 2-day shipping. The whole process is straightforward, simple, and discreet. Getting started is simple. Just go to getroman.com/SSR and complete an online visit. Erectile dysfunction used to be tough to tackle, but now there's Roman. Complete an online visit today to connect with a healthcare professional and get it taken care of. So visit getroman.com/SSR. It'll save you $15 off your first order. I put a link right below in the description to getroman.com/SSR. If it's something you want to address, you want to do it now, getroman.com/SSR. What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti, and a little update. Somebody has spray painted my house. I know, right? Just kidding. This is for the radiant floors. So if you live somewhere warm, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Radiant floors are a way to heat your house. And instead of heating with forced air through the air vents, which are up there, you're effectively heating your house from the bottom up because heat rises. And you have a nice warm floor, so when you're walking around barefoot or in socks or something like that, which you can do because it's your house, you get the nice warm feeling on your floor. Anyone that's got radiant floors says it's the best thing they've ever done, and we are doing it now. Now, the thing about radiant floors is they're very expensive. I got quotes up to about $65,000 to do the radiant floors in the house. I did the basement myself, and now I've got these guys in here doing the floors. Now you can see on the layout here, and this is I'm jumping around on these updates, but in the layout here, we've got the loop layout. Now you don't want, this is 1,000 feet of PEX tubing. PEX tubing is very, very resilient, very hard to puncture, and this is 1/2-inch PEX. Now I had Radiant Tech, and I don't know where it is, I'm looking for my layout. Radiant Tech, oh there it is, did the layout. And you can see it's got the loop length, it's got all that stuff, it's got the different manifolds. And I'm modifying it slightly. But they've got 2 different manifolds, 9 different loops. The longest length, 291 feet. Again, you don't want to go over 300 feet. But they've got the spacing, at 10-inch spacing, pretty much all around the house, at least on the first floor. I think it's 8-inch spacing upstairs. But you can see what we're doing here on the layout. Now, they make something called a warm board, Eco Warm. They make pre-laid out panels that you can sort of sequence together to save all of this labor, because there's a lot of labor going on here. But those panels are like 20 grand. At least the estimates I got were like 20 grand for my house. And it takes a couple of weeks. Here we're doing it with plywood. I got $5,000 worth of plywood. And the labor is a little bit more expensive, but it's still going to put me ahead of the game by, I would say like 8 grand just for the underlayment, but that includes the installation, because even if I got the Eco Warm or the warm board, it still comes with the fact that you have to put it down on the floor and install it. That's a couple $1,000 regardless. There's another way to do it where you put sleepers around, you lay all the tubing by screwing it into the floors or just having holes, and then pouring a gypcrete or like a concrete above it, creating one solid mass. That's not what I'm doing. The reason I didn't do that is because I'm going to have clearance issues with my doors if I do that. Because that would require, if you can envision a 2x4 going around the room, putting the things down, and that's 1.5 inches of the gypcrete. You can't have less than that because it'll crack. And then your final floor goes on top of that. So I am doing this because now I'm only coming up 3/4 of an inch. And you may say that doesn't seem like a lot, But coming up more than that, now you're like, once you start standing on everything, the ceiling gets much closer. It just, I don't know. I don't want to give up any of the interior space that I don't have to. So here you'll see essentially the different loops to get an idea. All the layout, we've cut these loops and these go in here. Effectively, we cut those out. Tubing goes through there and we can set our different loops. And when it's done, it looks like this. Now that's got no tubing in it. I'll bring you upstairs to show you what that looks like. The only other thing that I didn't explain is that the heat has to come up. So we're using aluminum fins, aluminum transfer fins, here in between these holes that we laid out. And that will allow for the heat to radiate up. So here you see essentially what an almost finished room is, because we don't have stuff going through here. But over here, this doesn't get wood underneath because this is all going to be, it's what's called a mud job. It's going to be like a sand-water mix, and then the marble tile will go on top of that. So this will have the tubes going through, but instead of the gypcrete, will be sand and water mixed together. It gets like card, and you put the tile or marble on top of that. And then this is what a manifold looks like. And these tubes are going to come in each run. There's going to be a hot line and a cold line, and this is all going downstairs. So the hot water comes in one way, it completes a loop, and then it comes back as not necessarily cold, but it does come back cooler. So the hot line blows all the hot water through the room. It cools off as it's running around. That's why the loop length can't be too long. And then it goes into the manifold and back down to be heated up again and cycle again. Fun stuff, right? Who thought cars are the only fun things you could do? But you can see we got about half of the upstairs done already. You can see, obviously, going into the bathrooms and everything like that, you don't have. But we have been cranking. And it'll take about, I would say, 8 days with 4 or 5 guys to get all this done. But totally worth it. Everybody that's got radiant floors say it's the best thing ever. I've never had radiant floors because I've never really had enough money to do it. But when I'm done with all of this, we're saving, I'll probably be out the door about 18 or 20 grand for heating, which is still significantly more than forced air heating. Because if you just look at what most people would do, is they've just got the AC units down there, and the air conditioning forces either hot or cold air. There's a heat coil that'll make that shoot either hot or cold air. The problem is you're dumping hot air, which then wants to rise back up. Just not as efficient, not as nice. The only negatives I've heard about radiant floors is that it takes longer to cool them off. So if it gets too hot or if it's too warm, it's harder to, it takes a while for that temperature to come back down, which means A, it's more efficient, but B, you just have to like open windows or something to get it back down the temperature that you want in a quicker manner. Ignore everything is just piled up in here. But anyway, let's check out the basement. We'll see the progress on that. And this is essentially, I'm waiting on siding. What's left here? We've got siding, we've got trim work, we've got paint, cabinet installs, and flooring. And once that's all done, guess what? I get to move in. And when I say cabinets, I mean cabinets and appliances. Most of the electrical stuff is done. It's just like the final installation of toilets, sinks, lights. Here you can see, sorry for the bumpy footage here. Here you can see we've got the steam room is going to be done. The sauna is going to be done. And we're getting pretty buck nutty here in my drinking room / wine cellar. And we're building out columns. These are all going to be brick. It's going to be brick around there. There's going to be a wine fridge here. I'm going to build these cool shelves for liquor so I can get, when I get my big bottle of Whistle Pig, it can go right in the middle there. To give you an idea, it's going to look something like that in that spot right there. Some cool shelves, all brick stuff. The ceiling will have all the lights in it. And then obviously in here will be rubber floor, and this will be the gym. This is going to be a glass wall here. It's going to be a glass corner there, and a glass wall there leading to that. Rob Ferretti in his Stradman basement. Signing off. See you tomorrow. So you guys are familiar with my other company, Adventure Drives, right? Well, we're going to be going to Scotland in October. We're going to be doing Scotch distilleries, playing golf at St. Andrews if you want to do that, walking around, seeing lakes, waterfalls, driving the North Coast. It's going to be an amazing trip. Prices start as low as $2,500 per person for the shorter trip in Scotland. If you're interested in going, check out the link in the description.